All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, let's start out with a power story here. Yuri Belkin with a new all-time world record deadlift in his weight class of 110 kgs, which is the 242-pound weight class. So Yuri deadlifted 445 kgs or 981.1 pounds for an all-time world record, again, in that 110 kg weight class. And this deadlift broke a record that was just set earlier this year, back in February of this year, by Jamal Browner by 10 pounds. So very impressive, especially when you keep in mind when you talk about someone like Hafthor Bjornsson having the 501 kg all-time deadlift world record. The fact that Hafthor weighed 450 plus pounds when achieving that 501 kg deadlift. And Yuri, I believe, weighed 15.4 pounds under that 242 weight class. So Hafthor weighed more than 200 pounds heavier, almost twice the body weight of Yuri Belkin when he did that 501 kg deadlift. So very impressive. 445 again at 110 kgs weight class. So shout out to Yuri Belkin. Now, next up in the news, let's talk about the Olympia a little bit. Kind of what I thought was going to happen is happening right now. So Rafael Brandao recently announced today, actually, that he is now out of the 2020 Mr. Olympia, despite the fact that he qualified just about a month ago at the Europa Spain by taking top 3 at that show. So apparently he put up an Instagram story saying that he did not recover that well. You know that he tested positive for the virus a couple weeks ago, and he's still kind of in the recovery process. And apparently it hasn't been an easy one for him. He's had kind of a rough time with it. And because of that, apparently he is not going to be competing in the 2020 Mr. Olympia. He also said recently in a video that after the Spain Pro, they found a dark spot on his lungs in the x-ray, and also said he needs surgery on his nose because of a deviated septum. So for those complications with the virus and also the nose thing, those are the reasons why he will not be competing in the 2020 Mr. Olympia. So it's interesting. And if you look at the Olympia qualified competitors list, this is kind of what I thought was going to happen. I said about a month ago, as we get closer to the Olympia, you're going to see more and more names get crossed off of that list. So now we have Rafael Brandao officially crossed off the list. We know that Nathan Diasha will not be competing either. We also know that James Hollingshead recently announced that he will not be competing, but he will be doing the 2021 Mr. Olympia that he just qualified for. Cedric McMillan recently announced that he will not be competing due to some recent injuries that he sustained. So there's 4 guys right now. And also, of course, you've got Flex Lewis, who recently announced maybe a month or so ago that he was not going to be able to compete due to an injury as well. So Flex was like the first one to make that announcement. And that was the big one. And I knew that after Flex there was going to be some more, because the way this year has been going, it's been a complicated year. It's been a hard year for a lot of guys, especially bodybuilders. And you also have to think about this. I'm going to go ahead and I crossed out the guys that aren't competing in red. I'm going to underline the guys in yellow that are still maybes right now, because the way things are going, there might be some travel issues. So Hadi Chupin with the visa. You also have Big Ramy. He's another international guy. There might be some complications with him getting over here. Again, the way things are going, there might be some new travel restrictions. Sung Cho Lee, he is from South Korea. Lucas Osadil from the Czech Republic. The Canadians, not so much of a problem. They've seemed to be able to travel to the States. Roelly Winklaar from Curacao. So the guys underlined in yellow, of course you got William Bonac as well. The guys underlined in yellow, these are the guys that are still a maybe. Hopefully, it seems like they're going to be able to get over here based on what they've said at the Olympia. But who knows? Everything is really uncertain at this point, just based on how 2020 has gone so far. I mean, again, the people behind the Olympia said they figured out a way to get the international guys here, but I still think at this point it's uncertain whether or not we will see them. So now we have 4 names crossed off that list, well, 5 if you count Flex Lewis, and a bunch of maybes. But we do have Phil Heath. We do for sure have Brandon Curry. And that's what I want to talk about next. Brandon Curry, another physique update came out today from Brandon, well, specifically from his coach, Coach Abdullah, over there in the Middle East at Oxygen Gym in Kuwait. So Abdullah has been posting, some pretty bold captions and some pretty bold pictures of Brandon going into the Olympia. It seems like they're none too happy with the attitude of Phil Heath going into this Olympia, especially like the beefcake comment in regards to Brandon and everyone kind of assuming that Phil is already going to win this year's Mr. Olympia. But look, I mean, the World's Strongest Man just wrapped up, and pretty much everybody thought that Brian Shaw was going to just walk away with that title. And Brian Shaw wound up in 5th, and I think that's a perfect example. Brian Shaw was a 4-time World's Strongest Man winner. Everyone thought he was going to come in very easily because so many people were not competing and take that 5th title, and he wound up in 5th. So anything could happen, so I wouldn't just hand the title to Phil. But back to this picture of Brandon Curry. So a lot of people were very impressed, again, by the roundness of Brandon in this picture. Some people were even sending it to me asking if I thought it was Photoshopped. For the record, I do not think it's Photoshopped. I think it's just a really good angle and really good lighting. And as we've learned throughout history, bodybuilding is 99% good angles and good lighting. That's why a lot of people look a lot better on Instagram than they wind up looking on stage, but I think Brandon will still be looking very, very impressive on stage. So that is the recent update from Brandon Curry, looking dangerous as ever at less than 5 weeks out now from the Olympia. We're getting crazy close. And maybe it's about time for me to do another Olympia prediction video. I haven't done one yet for this year's Mr. Olympia, so thumbs up this video if you want me to do a 2020 Mr. Olympia prediction video this week, and I will do it. Now, speaking of Phil Heath, a lot of people were sending me this recent video that Phil posted on his Instagram story, which appears to be taken today, getting some cryotherapy done. And this is a little bit of a stretch, but I've had probably at least 10 people send this to me saying, look at Phil's face in this video. A lot of people saying that Phil already had that diet death face going on here at, again, under 5 weeks out, which would be pretty early to have the death face and might be a telltale sign that he is going to be in really good shape at this year's Mr. Olympia. But honestly, I think it's a little bit of a stretch at this far out from the show to say he's got a death face now, so he's going to be in good shape. But I had several people send it to me saying, based on his face, he looks like he's really dieting hard. And I've got to agree with that. His face doesn't look round. He doesn't look, fluffy. He looks like he really is. He's dieting, as he should be. I don't think this is going to be an easy win for Phil. And I would really like to see more from Phil as we get closer to the Olympia. He's one of the most exciting stories. Like it or not, he is one of the most exciting stories going into this year's Mr. Olympia. His comeback is a huge deal. Him going for the record number of Olympias, he's going for number 8. It's a huge deal. I would really like to see some more physique updates from Phil because he's someone I want to talk about going into this year's Mr. Olympia. I think it's exciting he's coming back, and I want to talk about the possibilities with Phil, and I want to see some more updates from him. But I guess time will tell if we see that from him or not. But I certainly would like to talk about him more as we get closer to the Olympia because he's, obviously he's one of the biggest threats to Brandon's title, if not the biggest, besides Big Ramy. Now, next up in the news, we have a little bit of a physique update from Roelly Winklaar and what appears to be a recent video of him doing some dips. For triceps, you get kind of an idea of how Roelly is looking. Again, we haven't seen a whole lot from Roelly. We've seen a couple magic mirror pictures, a couple pictures and videos from his training, but not a ton from Roelly going into this Olympia prep. And in years past, Roelly has posted quite a bit in terms of physique updates. So I don't know really what that means in terms of how Roelly is looking. Maybe he's not as confident this time around, but hopefully, again, we're getting close to that 4 weeks out mark. Maybe we're going to start seeing some more physique updates from Roelly because really when we get close to the show, that's when Roelly drops the really crazy, most muscular or whatever that gets everybody talking. So maybe we're going to see that sometime soon. And finally, speaking of Mr. Olympia physique updates, your current 2019 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champ Chris Bumstead just dropped a brand new physique update today, getting out of the ice bath. Chris he's done a really good job. I got to give him credit, and I've been trying to give him credit every time that his name comes up. He's done a really good job of posting physique updates, keeping the fans updated, keeping us talking, giving us something to look forward to at the Olympia. And I think that's what makes bodybuilding exciting is, really high engagement on social media, keeping in touch with the fans, letting them know how your prep is going, all that good stuff. And Chris is looking big. I've said it multiple times. I think really the main thing that Chris is focusing on this year is coming in bigger, coming in improved, bringing up his biceps, bringing up his back. In every update that I've seen from Chris, he looks like he's in shape, but at the same time, he looks bigger and rounder and fuller, and I think that's going to work to his advantage at this year's Mr. Olympia. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.